You doing well? Oh, we're going to have fun this morning. Heart for the house. Everyone say heart for the house. Our Heart for the House series, we're kicking that off today. Mike already mentioned that. And you know what the series is? To get us ready for two really big Sundays you are going to want to make sure you are part of. One of them is our Heart for the House, one church, one service Sunday on November 1st. So it's like 111. You can't forget. And it's even at 11. 1-1. There you go. A lot of ones. How's that? So just think one. If you forget what time it is. But we're having the whole church together in one service at 11 o'clock on November 1st at the McLab Performing Arts Center. It's here in Leduc. If you're not familiar with it, keep your eyes open, Facebook and different other communication avenues, and we'll make sure that you get details on how to find that. But it is going to be a great morning. It's going to be a little bit longer service than usual because we're going to pack in some fun elements. We got some great surprises, and they're going to have a great program for the kids that morning too. It's pretty cool. And then on Sunday, November 8th, is what we call our Heart for the House Giving Sunday. And that's where we all have a chance to contribute financially to what we are building in terms of God's house, in terms of actually the space we need, because we need more space. It doesn't need that we're getting ready to enlarge our physical space. Because, man, we just got ideas of stuff that would be awesome to do, but we just need more space. Yes? All you need to do is spend about 10 minutes here and look at all the babies all over. We need more space. It's great. But you know, what does it mean to have a heart for the house? You know what? It means that we're actually passionate about God's house. We love the house of God, and we love God, and we love His church. We're not just excited about Jesus. We are excited about the church. I don't like it when I hear people, they talk, and this doesn't happen here, but you know, I go on a travel bit and people are like, the church. I'm like, no, the church is awesome. It is not perfect, but it is awesome. It is amazing. And you know what? If this is your first time here at City Life, and maybe you haven't had a great experience at church, you know what? We hope you'll give the church a second chance. We're not perfect. There's a lot of stuff that's wrong, and if we don't offend you this morning, that will be a miracle. It's true. But we absolutely love God, and we're passionate about it, doing whatever we can to be able to help people connect with Jesus in a way that they can fall in love with Him and fall in love with Jesus. And, you know, a heart for the house means that we see the church as God sees it. It's not just a place that we attend. It's not just a place, a group of people, or an organization. We see the church the way God sees it, because God sees the church as His body, His heart, His hands, His feet, that He wants, that we're meant to be able to carry out His purposes here on the earth. See, having a heart for the house means that we are building God's house together. Our heart is engaged here. And again, we don't just show up. We are actively giving our lives. We're giving our time. We're giving our abilities and our treasure to be able to build something that lasts forever. Something that's going to endure beyond our time on this planet. Come on, you want something for your kids that's going to be even better than what this is. You want something for those grandbabies that are going to grow up. Your grandkids are going to grow up and start having babies, and you're going to feel old. And it's going to be awesome. And you're going to still come to church, and you're going to have earplugs in because your hearing aid might make it extra loud in here. But you're going to be like, yeah. And your kids are going to be, man, can you imagine what it's going to be like, 50 years from now when your kids are grown up and you're still in church, and maybe we got holograms on stage or something. I don't know. Maybe we could change the whole venue and it looks like we're outside on a mountain. Wouldn't that be awesome? I would love that. It's like we show up in a building and we're on VR today. Oh, that'd be so cool. That's a totally different message. You know what? I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh, this could be fun. You know what? Maybe you've seen this around. It's one of these little, it's a little card. It's our City Life code, we call it. And really, this describes more detail about what a heart for the house actually is. What it means to have the heartbeat of this house. And one of the things that I really want to zero in on, one of the aspects, is one of the statements in the code. It's this. It's, we choose we over me. And I think we need to say that together. Let's say it together. We choose we over me. We don't just go to church. We are the church. Maybe you've seen that. You get here early enough, you see it in the intro, the service intro. And You know, I like to call this the we factor. This is the we factor. See, you were designed to be a we. You were designed to be a we. I'm not just talking about finding your soul mate. I'm not talking about the only way you'll be whole is if you find that, that partner, you're going to marry them and you're going to be together for life. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about, this is about living a connected life. This is about living connected. And see, you weren't designed to function simply as an individual. I want you to get that because that goes against the grain of our secular humanistic society that is all about me, the individual. You just got to be true to you. You just got to do your thing, and it's all about you. And see, there's unique, yes, but unique is very different than individual. See, you've been created with a very unique purpose. There is no one else like you on the planet. Some of you are like, yep, I know, I'm living with that person. But you know what? You've been designed with unique abilities, with a unique perspective, with unique insights and a unique imagination. You have been uniquely designed by God for a specific place in his body. But see, unique is not individual. And see, I think one of the reasons why our world is so broken, is so messed up, is because we've got a planet full of people that are trying to live individualistic lives. They're not living as a we. They're all about themselves. Come on, some of you might have even experienced this in family life. Man, you have a family where everybody's just kind of living for themselves and just doing their own individual thing. That is chaos. It's chaos in a marriage. Maybe experiences even at school with certain groups of friends. Everybody's just kind of doing their own thing. It's just not fun. And see, we have a broken world because we have too many individuals trying to do their own thing when we've been created for connection. See, God created a really amazing plan for you to discover who you, and actually live out who you were created to be. And his plan it was through a relationship with God and a relationship with his church that you actually discover who you were created to be. You cannot discover and you cannot live out who you were made to be apart from a relationship with God and apart from a relationship with his church. Now, you might think you can, but no matter how great a life you might be building on your own, without that connection to God and his church, you are living far below the potential that God created you for. So you were created to be a we. Everyone say, I'm a we. And see, your me only makes sense in the context of we. See, I want to read a couple scriptures. We're going to read out of Romans where Paul was writing a letter to the church and he was trying to help the church understand this because they had all sorts of different kinds of people. And they were trying to learn how to do life together as a group and not just as a whole bunch of individuals. And this is how Paul described it in Romans 12. And I'm going to read it in a couple different versions. He says, for in the same way that one body has so many different parts, each with different functions, we too, the many, are different parts that form one body in the Anointed One. Now, the Anointed One is Jesus Christ. Each one of us is joined with one another. And look at this last statement. I love it. And we become together what we could not be alone. We become together what we could not be alone. Let's go read it in a different version in the Message. It says, in this way, we are like the various parts of a human body. Each part gets its meaning from the body as a whole and not the other way around. The body we're talking about is Christ's body of chosen people. Each of us finds our meaning and function as a part of his body. Paul is talking about the church. The church is his body. Each of us finds our meaning and function as a part of his body. But as a chopped off finger, as a chopped off finger or a cut off toe, we wouldn't amount to much, would we? Since we find ourselves fashioned into all these excellently formed and marvelously functioning parts in Christ's body, let's just go ahead and be what we were made to be without enviously or pridefully comparing ourselves with each other or trying to be something we aren't. Body parts. keeping with the spirit of Halloween, we have some parts floating around here. It might be a little bit morbid, so if you don't, sorry. Hopefully you can handle it this morning. But look at what he says. A chopped off finger or a cut off toe wouldn't amount to much. What is this? You're a chopped off finger. What are you? Doesn't amount to much. Maybe you can use it to pick your nose. I don't know. Sure, there's other things you could figure out to do with that thing. I want to show you how this works. We're going to read some more scripture. 1 Corinthians 12 says, a person's body is one thing, but it has many parts. Yes, there are many parts to a body, but all of those parts make only one body. Christ is like that too. Some of us are Jews, some of us are Greeks, some of us are slaves, some of us are free, but we're all baptized into one body through one Spirit, and we're all made to share in one Spirit. In other words, we are all together by God's Spirit. Through Jesus, we're all part of one body. You are part of something significant. You are part of something eternal. Now, you might not know that, but today, you can choose to become a part of something eternal. A person's body has more than one part. It has many parts. If each part of the body were the same part, there would be no body. But truly, God put the parts in the body as he wanted them. Look at this next part. He made a place for each one of them. You know what? There is a place for you in God's family. There is a place for you in this house. There is a place for you in God's body. There is a place that God made you for and God made for you. And so there are many parts, but only one body. The eye can't say to the hand, I don't need you. And the head can't say to the foot, I don't need you. And going on, it says, the way God designed our bodies is a model for understanding our lives together as a church. Every part dependent on every other part. The parts we mention and the parts we don't. The parts we see and the parts we don't see. If one part hurts, every other part's involved in the hurt and in the healing. If one part flourishes, every part enters into the exuberance. You are Christ's body. That's who you are. You must never forget this. Only as you accept your part of that body does your part mean anything. Only as you accept your part does your part mean anything. See, what is this? Chopped off finger. It's just a fleshy little stump. Apart from the body, this does not have much value. Some of you are creative and you could think of weird things to do with this. But this has very little value. A chopped off finger has very little value apart from the body. What is it for? Imagine if you were this finger and you'd never seen a body before. You'd be like, what am I? I don't know what this is. What am I supposed to do? Well, you can't do anything because you're just a fleshy little stump. You're not attached to anything. Or maybe you're an eyeball. But an eyeball without a body? What is it? Well, you might get a little bit more action than the fleshy stump because maybe somebody turns you into a ball, or maybe you're a chew toy for your puppy or something like that. But you know what? It's not much fun. And if you are an eyeball, but you don't have a body, it's not fun being a chew toy because you know what? You get chewed on. You're not meant to be chewed on. You're meant to be in a body. You're meant to be in an eye socket. You're meant to be connected to all sorts of ligaments and all sorts of nerves that get connected to the brain. And you were designed as an eyeball to see things. You were designed as an eye to take in beauty and color. And you were designed to see things and that connect, and those nerves go to your brain, and your brain goes, oh, that's awesome. And then you get ideas. And then all of a sudden there's an imagination that kicks on in your brain, and your brain starts seeing things that could be. And then your brain goes to work, and all of the adrenaline starts going in your body because you're seeing things that you could maybe do and become, and everything goes into work, and then you can start making a difference. But you can't do that if you are a chew toy. Want a chew toy? See, you need a body, you need the church, and the church needs you. See, God's original intention for the church was that she would stand strong and powerful to affect change and put things right in our world. That is the purpose for God's church. But you know what? If she's got arms missing, she can't do a lot, can she? If she's got body parts that are all over the place, you can't do a lot with disconnected body parts. The church doesn't really look like a body when it looks like that, Or worse yet, when it looks like this. A bowl of body parts. Bowl of body parts. Foot. This is disgusting. Couple more fingers. See, each body part is part of a greater whole. Whoa! Look at that. I know, it looks so weird. You will never look at another mannequin or body part. Every body part is part of a greater whole. See, the goal is not trying to figure out what is my part. Am I a hand? Am I a finger? Am I this? You know what? The main point is you are part of something. You are a part of a body. And you know what? This becomes incredibly empowering, especially if you are in a stage or a season of life, or maybe it's been your life, where you are in a job that you need to be in because you need to pay bills, you need to take care of your family, you need to pay off student loans, or your parents threatened to kick you out if you didn't get a job. But you hate that job. It is a mindless job. You feel like you're not making a difference. You feel like, what is the use? I'm just going to work. This is boring. I hate this, but I got to do this. But you know what? If you are a body part that's connected to the body, and if you're connected through God's church, you know that you can come in here and work your body part, and you can be a part of something significant. You know that when you're working your part as part of God's church, you're building something that is affecting lives for eternity. It brings significance where there maybe wasn't significance before. Every body part is part of a greater whole. And see, the aim of the body parts is to be able to enable the whole body to do its functions, not just for the foot to go, woohoo, I'm a foot, look at me. It's not about the foot being awesome, no matter how awesome and how needed is the foot. It ain't about the foot. It's about the whole body. See, Greg was playing drums this morning. How many of you love Greg's drum playing? Greg does an awesome job. But see, when Greg plays awesome on the drums, I don't think, wow, Greg's hands did a great job on the drums this morning. They probably wouldn't be doing a good job if they didn't have all the fingers. See, I don't think, wow, those hands sure did great on the drums. What do I think? That's Greg as a person, all of Greg. It's the body parts together. And see, it's the same for the church. It's not about our part being, whoa, 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 look at me, look at what I can do. I'm so awesome. I'm a hand, I'm a foot, I'm an eyeball, I'm a leg, whatever it is. It's not about the body parts saying, look at me. It's about all of us together being able to say, look at how awesome God is. It's about the body parts being able to show off God as He truly is. So our world looks at Him and says, wow, the church is awesome. It's about the whole body being able to do the works that God would be doing if He were still here on the planet, because in fact, He is. He's here in His church through you and I. That's how God functions here on the planet. See, the goal is not about us doing our thing. The goal is Jesus. The goal is for Jesus to be able to be seen clearly through His body. But does that look like something you want to be a part of when the body parts are missing? If we're just caught up in here's my part, I got my part, here we go. This one be my part, it's going to go down, kick things around. Your body part, apart from the body, doesn't have a lot of use. And you know what? Some of you here have been very frustrated in life, trying to figure out your purpose in life. And you know what the game changer is for you? It's knowing that your part needs to be connected to a body. Knowing that there's a place that God has made for you and you for. See, the body parts need to be connected. Let's go back to Ephesians. I want to read Ephesians 4:16. It says, He joins and holds together the whole body with its ligaments, providing the support needed. So each part works to its proper design to form a healthy, growing, and mature body that builds itself in love. See, your part can only work if it's connected. What happens what happens if you decided to dismember your stomach and just sit it on the table because it was a nice little, I know this is really gruesome. I know, I'm trying to make it will stick, believe me. What happens if an organ is taken out of your body? It dies. What happens if a limb is taken off your body? It dies. Your body part needs to be connected. Body parts need each other to carry out their unique role. And see, just like God specifically made you for your natural family, God created you for a certain family, and he created a family for you because he put you in a particular family. Now, some of you might like that. Some of you are like, God, you seriously screwed up. Why did I get the bad end on this? But you know what? God knew that there would be imperfect, dysfunctional families on the earth. But there's still things in your family that are connected to you fulfilling your destiny. There were certain experiences that you had as growing up in your family. There's certain values. There are good things even in the most dysfunctional family because God doesn't make mistakes. Human beings are imperfect, but God doesn't make mistakes. And see, God also created a way for when our natural families fail us, he created something called his spiritual family. It's his church. And see, the same way you need your natural family is part of the fulfilling your destiny. Part of your destiny is going to be fulfilled through your spiritual family, the church. There are people in this room that are absolutely connected to you discovering and living out your purpose in life. It might be the body parts. It might be like this. It goes like this. Here we go. Imagine you are a hand. This is your purpose in life. You were created to be a hand. You might not know what that hand is for. You might not know a lot about what a hand is, but you're created to be a hand. But let's say you're frustrated in life because you're trying to do your purpose, but it's kind of hard to do your purpose when you got missing fingers, true? You got parts that are missing. You're a hand, you're frustrated, life sucks, life is hard. Come on, when you got body parts missing, life gets hard. But how do you know that, you know what? Coming in today into church, how do you know? Your two fingers might have showed up. Woo! Here we go. That's the right way. There we go. It looks weird, but look it! You got two fingers. You know what? See, that's what's the beauty of God's family. It's what the church is. You could be a hand missing body parts, and in today walks your two missing fingers. You are now a complete hand. You can do what you were meant to do, but better than that, your fingers, the fingers coming in found purpose because they're not just fleshy little stumps anymore. They have a purpose. They're connected to the hand, and now together you can do something great. Your body parts need to, what are you doing? Are you making... You know what? These connections help you in all sorts of areas in your life. See, maybe your body part, maybe there's another body part here that has some awesome wisdom on how to raise great kids. They have done a lot of things wrong, and they're like, don't do that. This is so not going to work. But they've also maybe done a lot of things right, and they can say, you need to absolutely do this. This is vital for your family. This is vital for your marriage. Or maybe you're wanting to start a business, and you know what? Your missing body parts could be some other business people in this church that have wisdom and know how. Man, they've learned a lot through a lot of trial and error and a lot of experience, and they can be body parts that can help give you wisdom on how to build a great, thriving business. Or maybe they're people that you're in a place of influence, maybe through your work, or maybe in a particular role that you carry in the community or in the city. And maybe it's really tough. You know what? Maybe your body parts are people here that will pray for you and be able to give you spiritual, be able to pray for you so you have strength to do what you're called to do. See, every part is indispensable. No matter how big the part is. Come on, we see a big part like the leg and we're going, oh yeah, that's a big important part. You know, you can look on the platform and you can see, oh yeah, it's really important that we have those music people up there. They're just such a big part of the service. You know what? Every part only hinges on how the little parts connect it together. You need the little parts. Your body has got ligaments that you never see until you hurt them. Then you know they're there. You've got all sorts of cells and blood vessels that are almost invisible to your eye, but are absolutely necessary to give your limb life and oxygen and function so it can continue to work. See, it's the little parts that are so needed. See, there's no such thing as an insignificant part. How many of you have ever had some little part in your body go out? Yes, hello, it's called pinched nerve. Anybody ever experienced one of those? Tiny little thing, maybe a millimeter at the most, maybe smaller than that. One little thing out of place, and all of a sudden it's like the rest of your body. You could be walking like this. It's just like, this does not feel good. Or if you've ever torn something called your ACL. Yeah, tiny little ligament totally throws your whole body off. What happens when one part is out of place? The rest of the body has to compensate and is forced to carry more weight, is forced to put out more effort when the body parts aren't there or when the body parts are out of place. And you know what? It's the same for God's body. I see, when we remove a part, we got a body without arms. We begin to look really weird, or we got a hand without parts. We begin to look really weird to the world. And see, when a body doesn't have all its parts, it looks strange, doesn't it? And you know what? I can't help but wonder if that's why the world takes a look at the church and is going, oh, I don't want nothing to do with that. Because what they see, instead of a whole, strong, powerful, functioning body, they see something more like Night of the Living Dead, with like eyeballs out and like, oh, Jesus loves you. And they're like, get out of here. You got arms hanging off, you got intestines hanging out, and you're like, come to church. And the world's like, no, thank you. Why do they run? It's because we got body parts missing. And so sorry. Dear God, I better finish. Here's my question. Are you a connected body part or are you a disconnected body part making the church look really weird? You are not. You are absolutely needed. You can never say, well, it doesn't matter if I'm not there. It doesn't matter if I'm not part. It doesn't matter if I'm not connected. It doesn't matter if I'm not a part of this. Yes, it does matter. Every part, seen, unseen. In fact, even in scripture we read, it's the unseen parts that actually have more value. Come on, you could not live without your liver. Have you ever seen your liver? No. What's a body part to do? First of all, you got to connect your part. You just got to make the decision. You're going to plant yourself in the house of God. And you know what? If it's not this house, then some house. Get planted in the house of God. And you got to decide that you're going to connect your part. You know, and what that means is you just simply try something. At the back of the room, we have all sorts of different tables that represent a lot of the different teams here in house. They're teams that make church possible. They're things that make the church able to function and carry out its role, not just on a Sunday, but more than that. And so you might think, well, is it just about doing something in the house and on Sunday and all this? It's low. But you know what I do know? I know that there are so many people in this house that are doing things of significance out in the world because they first got connected in and they discovered gifts that they never knew they had. And they discovered abilities that they never knew they had because they were able to try something. Just first serve. That simply means you get to try serving in an area without any obligation to stay there. You can just try a whole bunch of different areas. And there's things that take place. You know, you might be one of those people, I'm too shy and I don't like being around people. You know what? There is so much to do during the week that you could do from your house. That would be a blessing to so many teams. Things going on during the week here in the office. Things going on in ways that you can be unseen. If you like to be an unseen part, we will help you be unseen. But you know what? You got to connect. And there's so many people that have discovered they started serving in this area. They tried this and they started serving on this team. And it started to pull out. It's like, I never knew I had this ability. But as they got to try something, they would have never been able to have an opportunity to try. Come on, folks. You don't get that anywhere else in the world. You flat out don't. You got to connect your part and you got to work your part. Because when you work your part, That's how you develop muscle. You know, in the natural, when you work your arms, you work your legs, you work your hips or whatever other body, you start developing muscles. That was a bad illustration. You are so bad on the front row, husband. Said spit water on you. There's a finger. When you work your part, here we go. When you work your part, it gets stronger. You develop spiritual muscle. It develops your faith. It develops your faith muscle that will enable you to be able to see your life become all that God created you to be. I want us to stand, church. I want us to stand here. You can hold the leg. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to get a picture. I want you to quietly ask, God, what's my body part? Because, see, this isn't just about fulfilling a role or showing up on roster or doing something. See, there's a larger picture that we're about, and it's about God's purposes being established. God's purposes are the main event. And you connect yourself to the body, you get to be a part of lives being changed. You get to be a part of families and marriages being made whole. You get to be a part of brokenness being healed. You get to be a part of injustice being brought to an end, of poverty coming to an end. You get to be a part of being the solution and not just looking at all the problems and being overwhelmed. You get to become a part of having dreams come true. And I want you to put your hand on your heart and I want you to pray, say, God, would you help me to see with new eyes what my part is? And just with everybody, just where you're out, just with your eyes closed, we're going to pray a prayer here in a minute. And it's a prayer of saying yes to Jesus, because this is where it starts. A relationship with Jesus. God wants to connect you to his heart. He wants you to know how much he loves you. He wants you to know who you are, who you really are, what he created you to be. And you only find that through a relationship with Jesus. And so we're going to pray a prayer together, and it's saying, yes, I want to begin a relationship with Jesus. And I want you to pray out loud after me. Just say, Jesus, thank you for coming and living and dying in my place and rising again so that I could be made new. And I say yes to a relationship with you. I want a brand new start today. Thank you for a brand new beginning, a brand new life with you. Amen. And now we give God thanks. Can we do that, church?